All right, all right, all right. What's going on? I'm Chris and here with Steve. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, buddy. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm super happy to be chatting with you today because you have been working with me for almost 3 years now. It was
Yes.
Memorial Day of 2022 that you found this weird looking dude on TikTok, right? And you said,
Right? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna reach out to him. I think he can help me change my relationship with alcohol. So I'm grateful that you did because we've had a wonderful relationship ever since. I'm grateful to know you. I love your story and I want to share it with people. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's been an awesome journey. So,
Yeah. So you live in New Hampshire, you're a business owner, and I would love if you would just share where you were before you came and worked with me. Like what did your life look like as far as drinking went and just where you were at with everything.
okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Story starts. Obviously, we all started young, right? So I started as an early drinker. My parents, we come from Canada. Um, we started really young in drinking. I remember probably 10, 11, 12 years old drinking at home with my parents. Nothing, it wasn't out of the ordinary because that's kind of what the culture that we grew up in. Yeah, and then from there it just kind of progressed. So in my 20s, it was beer, wine, stuff like that. Got into my 30s, got into the hard stuff, and then hit my 40s. And yeah, like I explained to you at one time, I think well, I was at a handle a day. So I don't know if you want to call that a gallon a day, but I was on the vodka train for a good 2 or 3 years, about a handle a day. And I was gaining weight. I think at my highest peak, I was 370 at the time. When I first decided to stop, that was my biggest weight. And then I just got sick of feeling like shit. And I just, for some odd reason, was going through TikTok and Facebook and stuff like that, and I saw your name, and boom, here we are. So we started the
Yeah.
journey, right? So
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I want to talk about where you're at in a minute because it's
yeah,
it's awesome. Like
yeah.
you have amazing results. I share your story with people all the time because it's incredible. So before you decided to work with us, did you try anything else to work on
I
this?
did. So I did a year. I did a year with AA. So I went sober for a year in 2015, 2014, 2015. I went a year sober um, through AA, but it wasn't working. Well, it worked to me to help me stop, but then I just didn't feel comfortable where I was at with it. I just didn't feel like walking into to a place that said that I had to give it to God, and I had to make sacrifices to sit in those rooms, and it just wasn't me. I just didn't feel comfortable with the people that were there. Not that the people were bad, it was just the way the program was working for me. It just didn't feel right. I felt like it was trying to make me feel like I was a shithead because I was an alcoholic or not, or I was drinking too much. You know what I mean? Like everything was my fault. So I didn't feel like it was that way. So I pulled out of there, and then obviously I met my wife Liz now, um, and I kind of veered from it and went back drinking, and it kind of escalated from there until 2022. So I've always been a small business owner since I was a teenager, my early 20s, um, and we were like struggling, but I was just at a point in my life where I wanted to either grow my business and change things, or I didn't want to keep going on the path that I was on. So that's how I kind of ended up with you. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so it's coming up on 3 years, not a drop of alcohol,
nope,
right?
yeah,
Which is incredible.
yeah.
That's, did you think you'd be here 3 years ago?
Not 3 years ago. No, I did not think that. When I first started this, obviously I guess as a person, when you get to an end and you look yourself in the mirror and you have to ask yourself, like, what the fuck do you want to do with your life? You know what I mean? And I think in that point, in that time, that was where I was. I'm like, do you really want to wake up like this every day and continue doing this, or do you want to change it? And I wanted to change it. I think people get to a certain point. I mean, keep in mind, Chris, we've known, like, I was drinking a lot. Like, it was to the point where, it was put it this way, at the bar I was at, and we talked about this before, my monthly bill, because The only reason I found out is because we hired a new CPA to come in the office and work for us, and I was on her ass to make sure with business expenses and where we were at. And when she told me we were at $3,800 a month at just this one bar, that tells you got a problem, right? That's like,
3,800 a month at just the bar. Now we should clarify you were buying some drinks for some other people
yeah,
too.
we were. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but it's one of those situations where you're pounding some, everybody's pounding
Yeah,
some after
yeah,
work, and then what the hell? Let's just.
yeah.
I
See,
mean, that's a lot of
my
money
day.
that you're pissing away on
Oh, yeah,
poison.
yeah, absolutely. So my day always starts at 4 o'clock in the morning because of the type of industry we're in. So by 11 o'clock, I was back at the office, doing paperwork, and 99% of the time, by 12 o'clock, we were at the bar. So we'd have lunch there, leave, come back to the office, go there for dinner. It was just one of those things. And every time you whack yourself with a couple $100 twice a day. So $400 a day, do the math, you know what I mean? It was kind of crazy. Never mind the weekends. So, and, my health, I'm a type 1 diabetic, which people are amazed to me that I was still alive after all the amount of alcohol I drank. But, the doctor has been warning me for years that, you're going to have to change something because all my levels were off, like my liver, my kidneys, everything was getting affected. And obviously, as you get older, it was getting worse. So, I just woke up one day and I said, enough's enough. And then that's when I reached out to you and then we started working together.
Yeah.
And here we are, almost 3 years. So.
Yeah. And so tell us about the journey, man. Like what's changed in those almost 3 years? Where are you at now? What's life like?
Yeah, so basically in my health wise, I went from a guy that never went to the gym, never did really anything in exercise, and now I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I lost 110 pounds, which, right? Exactly.
That's so awesome. That's
crazy,
a lot of weight
right?
to lose. And
Yeah.
you lost that fairly quickly, right?
Yeah. The first 6 months, I lost almost 60 pounds just from stop drinking, because I really didn't start working out until about probably 6 to 7 months after I stopped drinking, because I had to let my body fucking do its thing, you know what I mean? So, but I think after like the 3rd month, I started going on walks, started doing little things, doing like that, just to clear my head. And I was doing what I think at least 2 pills of anxiety medication. Because obviously I was drinking so much, I was taking anxiety medication to help that. Within 6 months, I stopped taking anxiety medication. I cut it down in half, and then I stopped taking it full after like 8 months. So no more.
You're completely off of anxiety meds now.
No more anxiety meds. Nope.
It's awesome because a lot of people think, oh, alcohol is helping me with anxiety, but
No,
it's pure bullshit,
opposite.
right?
Yeah,
It's doing the opposite. It's keeping you in this anxiety loop.
Yeah, exactly. So the more you drink, the more anxiety you have. Yes, absolutely, 100%. That was the reason why I was taking it. And I was at the point where, we were drinking until 9 o'clock at night, going to bed, 2:30 in the morning. I've told you this before. I'd get up in the middle of the night to have a drink just so I can go back to bed, and then, struggling on a daily basis with it. And I did that for a long time, getting up in the middle of the night to have a drink. I think I did almost 2 years straight doing that. So it was definitely affecting my health, and everything else around it. And like I said, we were a small business that generated a little bit under $1 million a year. For around here, it wasn't bad, but I wanted to change that. So now from a business that went to $1 million a year, we have 14 employees and we're generating almost $5 million a year.
God, I hate it when that happens.
Right? In a 3-year
Ding,
period.
man, that's such a fucking home run. Like that,
Right?
think about that.
Exactly.
Just by cutting out alcohol, it allowed you to not only get your health back and lose over 100 pounds, get off of anxiety meds, but I mean, business-wise, and that's like you said, that was one of the goals, right? You didn't want to keep feeling like shit every day, just going through the motions. Like a lot of people end up getting in this place. That's where I was too. And you took your business. I thought it was 4 million. Now you're up to 5 million. Damn.
Yeah,
it's
we're
like
up to 5. So 2025, we're gonna hit 5. Yeah.
Wow. And then minus the bar bill too. So that's even more cushion.
Exactly. Yep. We added more bills, but yeah, we got rid of that one for sure. But no, and people ask me all the time how you do it. And I said, listen, I know a guy that has a program, and if you follow the program and you do the homework, and there's a lot, there's homework involved with that. He does what you taught us, like, you know what I mean? So there's certain steps you have to take to change your brain, and I think a lot of people don't understand that is what goes in your head on a negativity with alcohol until after it takes. People ask me all the time, how long did it take to change? I tell people all the time, it might be different from other people, but it took me at least 3 months to figure out that I had to change the way I thought about things. You know what I mean? And I think the way it only changed is because the stuff that you made us look at, all the readings, the affirmations that you made us do on a daily, just all the little books that we had to read online, stuff like that. All the little things, I think that helps a lot. And when your brain switches to thinking more positive instead of negative, then that's, I think, when it really kicks in. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, as opposed to just forcing yourself, not don't drink, don't drink, don't drink. I
Yeah,
want to, but I can't. I'm not going to. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
yeah,
When you look at alcohol differently, where you go, you know what, I could have that, but I just really don't want to. I don't want
yeah,
to go back to that place. That's not me anymore. And you change your mindset and all that.
yeah.
That's what we help you do. And obviously, you've done that, right? So, like, do you almost 3 years later now, do you miss alcohol? Do you crave it? Do you feel like you're, missing out or depriving yourself? Like any of
No,
that?
absolutely not. I think after, I want to say it takes time for it to go away. I mean, there's always that little dude on your shoulder that says, "Oh, maybe," you know what I mean? Like, but the craving for it, I do not crave alcohol anymore. And honestly, I love having conversations with people that are still drinking, just to, I don't know, like, I wouldn't say still drinking. I'd say if we're going out and stuff like that. And for me, back in the day, and I'm kind of a shy person, obviously, that, but going out, not drinking and talking to someone at a bar, like, it was kind of weird for me at first, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know how to fucking do it. You know what I mean? I had no experience of doing that. So that took me a while to get used to that. But once we go out every Friday or Saturday night with the wife, and we don't go sit at a table. I still go sit at the bar. Like, we sit at the bar with everyone else, we chit chat, and I have a fucking Diet Coke. You know what I mean? Or a water with lemon, whatever. Like, and the wife will have a Jordan drink. But to me, having those conversations with people, but still in that kind of, and I know some people wouldn't be able to do that. I know a lot of people that can't associate going to a restaurant with a bar and still not drink. Some people just can't do that. But I think after a while, when you start feeling comfortable with yourself and confident with yourself, that you can actually sit at a bar and be comfortable with it. And and this is what I tell you all the time. I says, I swear to God, you fucking hypnotize me, because I don't have any fucking cravings. I really don't. I mean, it's weird to me, because I haven't known any difference since I was a teenager. You know what I mean? So, and honestly, teenager, like early, like 13 years old, we started drinking. Like, and it wasn't a daily occurrence, but it was pretty much 2 or 3 times a week when we were kids. And then at 16, it was even worse. And 17, it's like I was always a daily drinker. People always ask me all the time. I was definitely a daily drinker, like every day. So for me not to drink for 3 years now, it's kind of crazy to me. I mean, I still wake up myself and slap myself in the face and say, "Is this for real?" Like, it's like kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
it was the best decision I ever made, um, to this day, and I have no regrets whatsoever. So it was the best thing ever. I tell people all the time, if you have a lot of anxiety and you have a lot of stress, look, we're high functioning alcoholics, right? You were too, so was I, and we thrived on the stress to get through the day, and alcohol just amped it up. You know what I mean? Like, you could drink and do your job at the same time. Fucking yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? It's like, but
Yeah.
that kind of catches up to you after a while. So it's
Yeah.
kind of,
Well, that's the thing, that you have to make the decision that you did. You
yeah,
go, look, am I going to keep going down this path? Like, you didn't have a DUI. You weren't threatening to, your wife wasn't threatening to leave you necessarily. You weren't like, oh, my business is going to crumble if I don't stop drinking. But you just knew, like, man, I'm tired of doing this, right? Like,
yeah,
and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I think you mentioned to me, like, you got to the point where you couldn't even like bend over and tie your
yeah,
shoes, right? And so you
yeah,
just, right. And that, because I remember you telling me the first time that you were able to do that, after you quit drinking, you started losing weight, and you're like,
yeah.
holy shit, like the impact of, I
My
can
my
actually just
legs, my
bend over
legs were
and,
so swollen because my kidneys were not functioning right. My legs were so swollen. I couldn't fucking bend over. My feet were swollen, my legs.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So this, I mean, this literally, by you making this decision, it changed your life. And it's not, you know, I can't perform magic on anybody, right? You have to do the
No,
work. You have to
absolutely.
actually do what we ask you to do and want it. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what you did. And that's why you're successful. Because if you're not ready, if you're going to half-ass this thing, or you're doing it to appease somebody else, forget about it. I mean, you have to really want this.
You do.
And that's exactly what you did. And I remember, like, you celebrated your 50th birthday in that first year, and right, Punta Cana,
Oh,
and you like, you booked a room on the 3rd floor purposefully so you could walk and get exercise. Like that's the kind of shit, man, that
Yeah,
you
that's
change
the
your
shit
whole
that
life
changes,
by
you
making
know?
these little changes.
Oh yeah, because I would be the one guy who would get the most expensive room closest to the pools. I didn't have to fucking walk far and just get to the bar, jump in the pool and walk to just swim to the bar. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was the totally opposite. It's funny how things your whole life just switches. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's,
Yeah.
I still get dumbfounded by some of the things that I did, you know, back then, and some of the things that I'm doing now. It's like I would have never thought, you know, like the business itself, you know. It's I put a, you know, once you stop drinking and you have a lot of extra time. And I put the time into the business, you know what I mean? And look at, this is where we're at now. So it's double employees, almost, you know, we tripled almost the volume that we do. So that in itself should tell you like it's possible, you know, anyone can do it, you know, as long as you put the effort in and the work and the time. It takes time and it's uncomfortable, but I think that's the whole goal, is to make yourself feel uncomfortable to work out those situations, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things in my head that I had to work out, that, you know, that I had to figure out, you know what I mean? So because drinking was only you kind of masked everything, right? So that's kind of, you know, the constant buzz every day just made life go by easier. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and then you have
Because
to
on
deal
the
with your
other
fucking
side,
feelings. You have to deal with your feelings when you come sober. So,
yeah, yeah. And that people are afraid of that, right? We're
yeah,
not taught how to do that. We're taught to avoid, or and we, you know, but it's on that other side of that discomfort that all these other things start
yeah,
opening up, right? The breakthroughs, the
absolutely.
clarity.
Yeah.
But as long
You
as
can
we
get
keep
through the
using alcohol
discomfort
as
and
our,
the discomfort and the vulnerability of it. I think a lot of people would figure out that it's not that hard. So,
yeah,
you know, it
yeah,
just takes a little time to get there. Like I said, you know, if people just give themselves 6 months to a year to really feel how it felt, um, their lives would change. Like at least it did for me. You know what I mean? So if you get, you know, and the other times that I stopped drinking, I would go a couple weeks, a month, but then, you know, then there was a certain situation that came up. It was just easy to start drinking again. So that was the out all the time. Oh, it's just easier to pick it up, you know. Until you figure that out and try to move on from that and try to deal with whatever the situation's going on. And it's hard the first couple times when you have to deal with stuff when you're sober. It sucks, but I think it kind of switches your brain to really think about what's going on, you know? So, yeah.
yeah. Yes, sir. Well, I love it, man. You are an inspiration, and I commend you. I congratulate you. Thank you for putting your trust in me to work with you, walk alongside you. And just brother, keep crushing it. I'm so happy to know you. I'm happy to
Absolutely. The
continue
feeling's
working with
mutual,
you.
Chris. You know, I tell people all the time, I don't know what it is with your program, and you got your little secrets there, but they definitely work. So it's whatever you, if someone wants to really follow it, it does work, you know. So, and you know, the effort, it's not the end of the world effort. It doesn't take that much. As long as you commit the time and you commit it to yourself, it does work. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
And you can have a whole new life, right? Down
Absolutely.
110
Absolutely.
pounds, working out, raking in the business revenue,
Right?
right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, do I want to have that, or do I want to keep feeling like shit and
Yeah.
numbing out with alcohol? Like, hello, you know, it's just
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
it's
And look at, like we were just talking a little while ago, we just confirmed that we're buying a new house this year. So it's just,
yep,
yep.
there you go.
Another,
Only
another step.
run, brother.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Steve. I really appreciate your time and sharing your story. You are an inspiration. I hope there's somebody watching or listening right now that's exactly where you were this time 3 years ago that goes, you know what? I can do this. You know, there is an answer for me, because there is, right? As long as, like we said a million times already, that you have to be ready and willing to do what it takes. And
Absolutely.
that's exactly what you were. So
There's a
thanks,
way.
brother. Keep crushing it, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care, Steve.
You too.